Fortnite Season 4 is finally out, and in this video I will demonstrate how you can get your FPS from this to this. Welcome to TechSplash, and in this video I will demonstrate how you can optimize Fortnite Battle Royale to boost FPS, reduce lag, and give you an overall better experience. Let's dive right in. So let's start with the Windows settings. To get to settings, go to the start menu and just type in settings. It should pop up just like so. Once we're in the settings, we can go over to system, then display, then scroll down until you get advanced display. Then make sure you click on this and select the highest refresh rate possible. For me, 75 Hz is the highest refresh rate, but you may have 60 Hz as your highest refresh rate, or 144, or 165, or even 240. You want to make sure that it's set to the highest possible refresh rate. While you're in the display section, you can also go to display resolution and make sure this is set to either the highest possible resolution or the recommended resolution. Usually this will be the same thing, but sometimes the recommended resolution will be lower than the highest resolution, so it's personal preference, but I would never recommend that you go anything lower. After you're done with that, you can go to the gaming tab in the settings, go to game mode, and make sure this is on. If you have this on and you're still getting bad performance, you can try turning it off. Some people get better performance from having this off, but I would recommend turning it on. After that, hit graphics. Then in this list of all possible apps and games you may have, find Fortnite, go to options and set it to high performance. If you don't see Fortnite here, you can go over to browse up at the top, go to where your Fortnite is located, click on Fortnite, Fortnite game, binaries, Win64, and then once you're here, just click on Fortnite client Win64 shipping.exe and hit add. For me, it was already added, but if you didn't have it, it should be added, and then just go to options and ensure that high performance is selected and hit save. After that, you can just close out of the settings app and instead go to the start menu and type in control N, and it should pop up just like so. Hit enter, and once you're in the control panel, you can go ahead and select hardware and sound, then power options, and you should be given a list of power plans here. And what you're going to want to do is hit on the high performance power plan and stay on the high performance power plan. If you don't see a high performance power plan, you can go to the side here and select create a power plan. After that, you can select high performance and you can name this whatever you want. You can call it high performance plan. Hit next. These are personal preference and hit create. Now we're going to do an optimization which could possibly resolve any issues you have with ping or latency or packet loss. To do this, just right click on the start menu and hit terminal admin. Hit yes. Now once the terminal pops up, you're going to want to type in netsh space win stock space reset. Hit enter. It says you must restart the computer in order to complete the reset. We will be doing that at the end of the guide. Then type in netsh space int dash space IP reset. Hit enter again. Restart the computer to complete this action. We will do that later. Then type in ipconfig space / release. Then type in ipconfig space / renew. Then finally type in ipconfig space / flush DNS. Flush DNS, all one word, hit enter, and successfully flush the DNS resolver cache. Once you are done with all of those commands, you can go ahead and close the command prompt. Now we will get into a bonus step, which is ISLC, which is an application that can improve your performance, lower your input lag, and give you an overall better experience. To get ISLC, go to your web browser. I'm using Arc for Windows. Once you're here, you can type in ISLC, just like that. Now you should see this website by Wagnard Soft. Just click on it. Click on download ISLC here, and it should start to download. Click on that, click on the file, and hit extract. I already have ISLC, so it's asking me to replace it. I'll hit yes to all. Once it's installed, you can go to the start menu and type in ISLC, and it should be called Intelligent Standby List Cleaner ISLC.exe. Just click on that, hit yes. And if it doesn't seem to open, go to this button called Show Hidden Icons, and there should be a little logo here called Intelligent Standby List Cleaner. Just double click on that, and it should open just like so. You're going to want to change free memory is lower than, and in this box you should enter a value that is half of your total system memory. So here I have 16,333 megabytes. So I'll approximate that to 16,000. So I will type in 8,000 for free memory is lower than 8,000 megabytes. Whenever the amount of free memory on your RAM is lower than 8 gigabytes, it will clear the standby list, which allows your game to have more room to perform better. Then you're going to want to make sure start ISLC minimized and auto start monitoring is selected. Then in this wanted timer resolution box, you're going to want to delete everything in the box, type in 0.50, and then hit the delete key to clear everything after that. And now we have a wanted timer resolution of 0.5. Make sure this box is ticked, enable custom timer resolution. Then go to ISLC polling rate, go to 250, then hit start. And then once this is started, you can just minimize this and it should close. Now we're done with the Windows settings and we can move on to the app settings. The first optimization we're going to do in the app settings is to go back to the file explorer, go back to where your Fortnite game is located. In my case, it's in my secondary drive. Click on the Fortnite file, then go to Fortnite game, then go to binaries, Win64. Then you're going to want to scroll down all the way until you find Fortnite client Win64 shipping.exe. You're going to want to right click on this, go down to properties. Then you're going to want to go to the compatibility tab. Make sure you have disable full screen optimizations on. Then go to change high DPI settings and make sure this is selected. Override high DPI, scaling behavior, scaling performed by, make sure this is set to application. Hit OK, then hit apply, and then OK. And then you're done with that step. After that, you can go into the Epic Games Launcher. Once you're in the Epic Games Launcher, click on your icon here, then go down to settings, then scroll all the way down to the bottom, click on Fortnite, and then click on additional command line arguments. In this, you're going to want to type in dash, use all available cores. And then once that's in there, you can just go back and we are done with that optimization. And for the next optimization, stay in the Epic Games Launcher, go down to library, find Fortnite, click on the three dots, then hit options. You're going to want to deselect high resolution textures unless you have a super high-end PC. It just takes up your disk space and it lowers your FPS. And then depending on if you use DirectX 12 or not, you're going to want to disable this. But if you use DirectX 12, which I will get into later, then you should keep this enabled. And I would highly recommend that you select pre-download streamed assets, or else it will start downloading the assets while you're in game, which will slow down your game and also use up all your download speed. So you might run into internet issues and high ping. Once you have made all the changes in here, you can hit apply. Fortnite might update. And then once everything is all updated and Fortnite's ready to launch, we can move on to the graphics settings. So go ahead and launch Fortnite. Now, once you're in the game, you're going to want to hit on your icon here, go to the settings page and make sure you're on the video tab. This tab is the most important factor when it comes to your FPS and graphics quality. The settings you choose depend on your specs and the level of your computer. So first of all, you're going to want to make sure window mode is full screen, your resolution is the highest one available or your native resolution, and VSync is off because VSync leads to input lag. If you'd like to set a frame rate limit, you can go ahead. It does help in stabilizing the game. However, if you want to set a custom limit, which might be more effective, you can set this to unlimited and we will set the FPS limit later. Now, starting off, if you have a low-end PC, I would highly recommend that you do performance mode, aka lower graphical fidelity. It offers the best possible performance with minimal stuttering and other issues. So if you have a low-end PC, go to performance mode, hit apply. It'll say, please restart the game for all changes to take effect. Hit restart now. Once you're back in the game, you can go up to your icon, go back to settings. And as you can see, we're in performance mode. These graphics settings are completely personal preference. If you want to use colorblind mode, you can go ahead. I use Tritanope and I use colorblind strength of 3. Now, when you're in the graphics quality area, you can go ahead and select a 3D resolution. If your PC can handle it, I would recommend keeping it at 100 just so that you have a normal looking game. But if you want every FPS possible, you can lower this to around 70% or even 60%. In the worst case, you can go down to 50%, but I wouldn't recommend anything lower than that ever. It just makes the game look absolutely terrible. But I would recommend for most people, you should keep it at 100. After that, go to view distance and make sure this is set to medium or far. If your PC can't handle it, set it to medium, but I would definitely recommend setting it to far just because you should be able to see far away for a competitive advantage. And it also loads the map in quicker so that you're not loading it in as you're moving around the map, therefore lowering your FPS. Textures should be on low, meshes should be on low, and these advanced graphics are again personal preference. And you can hit apply and you're done. Now, if you have a medium end PC, I would recommend doing DirectX 11. You can still use performance mode if you want every possible frame, but I would definitely recommend DirectX 11. DX11 offers reliable performance for most systems and it still looks pretty good. So I would definitely recommend DirectX 11 for anyone using a medium end PC. You can select DirectX 11 and hit apply. Once again, it will ask you to restart the game. Hit restart now and just wait for the game to restart. Now, as you can see, we're in the DirectX 11 mode. You can scroll down and once again, your graphics settings are personal preference. However, I would recommend that you keep motion blur off. If you want it, you can keep it on, but for most people, I would recommend keeping it off. Ignore the auto set quality and quality presets. Leave all these settings and go down to anti-aliasing and super resolution. Now, this setting is extremely important because it is basically the anti-aliasing setting that your game uses and it completely affects your graphics quality and at your FPS. So there's only two options I would really recommend, which would be DLSS on either quality or balanced, or select TSR low with your 3D resolution at 100%. The reason I would not recommend TAA or FXAA is that they look very similar to DLSS but perform much worse. That's why DLSS is a better option than either. And then if you want your game to look a little better, you can do TSR low. If you're using TSR low, I would recommend setting your temporal super resolution to native and then go to your 3D resolution and keep this at 100. If you want, you can try TSR medium and TSR high, but I would not recommend them just because they take away from the FPS and they don't look way better than TSR low. Once you've decided what anti-aliasing you would like to use, you can move down over to shadows over here. And I would recommend keeping these shadows off. If you can afford to lose some FPS and you want your game to look just slightly better, you can go to medium, but anything higher than that is stupid. I would recommend keeping it off. For global illumination, I would recommend keeping it on ambient occlusion. For me, it hasn't affected my FPS too much and the game looks better. Same thing for reflections. It hasn't affected my game much, but I feel like the quality is slightly better. So I would keep reflections on screen space instead of off. Then for the view distance, I would definitely recommend keeping it on far or epic if you'd like, but far for most people. And I would recommend keeping all three of these on low. If you can afford to make them higher, go ahead. But for a medium end PC, these three should all be low. Then go down all the way to NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency. And I would always recommend keeping it on plus boost. No other setting, just on plus boost. Now you can hit apply and you're done. Now, if you're on a high-end PC, you can still use DirectX 11 for reliable performance, but there's a high chance that your PC can handle DirectX 12, which looks better and offers even more settings. So if you'd like, you can go over to DirectX 12 and hit apply and hit restart now. If you're using DirectX 12, you need to make sure that you have DX12 enabled in the install options that we changed earlier. Make sure you did not disable that. Now, once you're finally back in the game, you can hit on your profile, go to settings, and as you can see, we're in DirectX 12. Now you can go down. Again, I would recommend keeping motion blur off. Go down, and for anti-aliasing and super resolution, you can choose a higher TSR. I would recommend medium or high. I don't think you need epic because there isn't a huge jump from TSR high to TSR epic. But if you have a super high-end PC, you can try TSR epic. Next, I would recommend temporal super resolution at native again. Make sure it's set to 100. Then go to nanite virtualized geometry. And this is one of the settings completely exclusive to DirectX 12. If you have a really high-end PC, you can turn this on and it makes the game look a lot better. It also enables a lot more settings for even higher quality. But if you want to still maintain high FPS on DirectX 12, you can disable this. But for the purposes of this video, I'll keep it enabled. Virtual shadows is a personal preference, but I would recommend either medium or high. For global illumination, Lumen High and Lumen Epic look absolutely amazing, so you can choose either one. Then for reflections, again, you can do Lumen High or Lumen Epic. I would recommend Lumen High. For view distance, I would definitely recommend setting this to Epic so you can see further. And then the rest is all personal preference. If you'd like, you can set textures higher to make the game look better. Effects and post-processing, you can enable these as well. but they aren't really necessary, so I would still keep them at low. And finally, ray tracing, you're going to want to keep this off unless your PC is a complete beast that can completely handle absolutely everything. You're going to want to have this off. It completely destroys your FPS and it does look a lot better, but it's not worth it. So make sure you keep that off, scroll down and make sure NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency is on plus boost once again. Then you can hit apply and back and you are done. And you can close out of Fortnite. And finally, for the very last step of this video, I will show you how to set a frame cap for Fortnite, and I will be doing it using the NVIDIA app. If you don't have the NVIDIA app, you can also just use the NVIDIA control panel. But if you have the NVIDIA app, go to graphics and then in program settings. As you can see, I'm already on Fortnite. You can go down, make sure power management mode is prefer maximum performance. Make sure VSync is off and then click on max frame rate. Hit on and you can set this to whatever cap you'd like. I have mine at 90 because that's where my FPS usually lingers around, 95 to 100, so I keep mine at 90. You can hit apply. This usually depends on the refresh rate you have. If you have a refresh rate of 120, you can set the cap to 120. I have a 75 refresh rate, but I like to keep my cap a little higher than my refresh rate. And then close out of the NVIDIA app. And then now we are completely done with this guide. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked it or it helped improve your FPS, hit the like button. If you want to see more PC optimization videos, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.